Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
White Sox fans, welcome in. It's the Sox on Tap post-game show. Johnny Nani here alongside Tony Marchese. And this one is a soul crusher. Tony, White Sox fall 5-3 series finale at KC. I see what you're about to do. Let me join you real quick. We're going to need it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rough one. It was a rough one, man.
It was rough. It was really rough. The beer tastes good. It's not a victory beer, but you need something to help you cope through whatever this shit show is. So if you're out there listening and you're of age, and a nice adult beverage tonight to help wash this one down, Johnny, is definitely what I would recommend.
Yeah, I would as well. Multiple. And the weekend starts on Thursday, so you have an excuse right there. So
Yeah.
Go ahead and indulge because you're going to need it because the White Sox are taking away any joy that you could possibly have on this lovely summer evening. Tony, it sucks. I mean, we're just going to run through this. I think we said it last night. Feel like a broken record. We've done this show a bunch of times. White Sox not converting on opportunities. So let's just run it straight down. And I'll start at the top. Dylan Cease deserved better. Guy pitches like a Cy Young candidate. He's got the most ridiculous streak. Was it 19 games with one earned run or fewer? Well, head and shoulders above everybody else. Does it again today. Only allows a solo shot. Goes 6. And White Sox offense lets him down despite multiple opportunities to pick him up.
Yeah, what did I say last night, Johnny? You have to play perfect baseball if you're the Chicago White Sox right now. And unfortunately for Dylan Cease, he finds out the hard way that giving up that one home run was going to do him in right there. So, man, it's incredibly frustrating to watch a team that has to play perfect baseball. This team shouldn't have to play perfect baseball. There should be stretches of this season where you're able to not mail it in, but not have to go full force. I don't think I've seen the team play full force very many times this season. And you have to, I think that there was something crazy. I was rewatching the Field of Dreams game as I fell asleep last night. And I think they were like 11 games up in the division, like around this time last year, something ridiculous. And I'm just like, wow, what would it be like if we had this type of lead going into today? And really, honestly, dude, you can't have any sort of blemishes. It sucks, but Dylan Cease is absolutely phenomenal out there on the mound. We should be celebrating how fucking good this guy is, and it's hard to do that when you're losing ball games like this.
Yeah, when you talk about Dylan Cease today, it was a very, very nice outing for him. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was on that solo shot, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. That's ace shit. We've seen it from him all year, and like I said, he deserved better. Let's get into why he did not pick up a win today, and that was because of wasted opportunities. Tony, I jot these down, and it pains me because I can basically go and write how they're going to finish after they get, certain situations with runners on base. And I'll go ahead and list them off here, and you can go ahead and react to them. First and top of the second, nobody outs, wasted by Harrison, fly out, Sosa grounds into a double play. Top of the third, you load the bases with no outs, probably the most egregious one here. Eloy and Abreu strike out, Grandal grounds out weakly, and that was also Sebi Zavala failing to score there on the Vaughn base hit to right field because he just misread it, and you can't, like you said, no room for error there. Another one, the White Sox actually scored in the 8th inning, but then they loaded up the bases with a string of singles after that and left them loaded with 2 outs there. So Tony, obviously the top of the third hurts, but you could have set the tone in the top of the second with first and second, nobody out. And then of course, because that's so White Sox, after they do that in the bottom half of the inning, that's when the Pasquantino bomb comes through, and it's demoralizing, soul crushing, one might say.
It is. And I've talked about this a few times, the importance for this White Sox team to score first in these ball games, to break some things open, to give their pitchers leads to work with. The Cease didn't even need a lead to work with today. And this is squarely, in my opinion, Johnny, on a lot of this offensive stuff. We got a comment in here, Luis Robert, not running may have broken my spirit. There's so many things that you see. And Steve Stone said it at the end of the broadcast, the hustling is optional comment. It stinks from the head once again here, Johnny. It's incredibly soul crushing. I think that's the best way to put it. It's almost like they're not making their own momentum, right? They're not doing anything that's gonna make it contagious to be fun and win ball games. It looks like they're going through the motions 90% of the time. The fake rallies kind of kill you over and over again as a fan watching it. And I'm sure the reaction
they eat at your soul.
Yeah,
they really do.
It's so hard to watch and have any faith that they're going to get anything done. I don't even know.
I think we got a comment in here for Matthew Lucas. He's been firing off in here, and we love that. Make sure you subscribe on Tap Sports Set on YouTube. Jump in the comment section here. We'll feature them just like this. Matthew, thank you for the comment here. He says this team doesn't believe in setting the tone. They believe in not hustling because hustling leads to injuries before the playoffs. They assumed would be handed to them. This goes back to a comment that Liam Hendricks made, and it was kind of in passing at the All-Star game, but he had said, one of our problems when they talked about, was there a lack of leadership, whatever. He said there's maybe a lack. The only issue was a bit of overconfidence. And you know what? I appreciated the honesty at the time, but obviously you're seeing that when you're talking about something like this, that you assume playoffs would be handed to you. You assume that you were just going to go and run it back exactly like you did last year. So I think that all ties in there, Tony. So I think that's a good place to leave off on that one.
Nothing's changed since Liam Hendricks said those words.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that it would. You would think that, hey, we got to get down to brass tacks. We have to take care of our business. We have to take care of these teams. Man, the last two games that I've watched of White Sox baseball have been so painful in every way imaginable. And it's just a piss poor effort.
Well, I hope you're a masochist because here's some more pain for you, Tony. The White Sox, this is courtesy of Jay Kuda, and the White Sox have done this 3 times, and this was the situation in the top of the third today. Loading the bases with nobody out and failing to score any run. And the average run scored in that situation is 2.5. And the White Sox have done that 3 times, most of any team in the league this year. And this one it wasn't just like a close single or one that just got off of a guy's glove, so you had to stay. This was a mental error by Sebi Zavala tagging towards second base, even though the ball was pretty close to the line there when Vaughn poked it out to right field, and he is only able to advance to third. And okay, yeah, he absolutely should have scored on that, so you should have had at least one. However, you can also go and put onus on the guys behind him there too. So you should have had 1 in, but then you should have had 2, 3, 4 runs, hopefully, in that inning, right? A crooked number, which we love here, but we don't get to see too often. But then you go, you're heart of the order. How about that? You're only hitting 3 today, right? Abreu 4, and then we know Yaz has been here and there. There'll be a little bit more on him later in the show. But those 2 guys striking out and on pitches that are way out of the zone, and that goes back to a comment by Zach Greinke, who had, when Stoney said he talks to him in the offseason or whatever, he'd said, what impressions of the White Sox, said, go and throw anything. They'll swing it, whatever, no matter strike. You saw that on full display in both Eloy and Abreu's at bats. And then Yaz just hits a weak little grounder there. Not very opportunistic. And once again, soul crushing. Go back. Word of the day here. It's
disgusting. That's all I've got to say. It's disgusting.
Make you sick?
Yes.
Make me sick.
Man, the fact that the scouting report on this team is just so wildly available to anybody, and
they do it to themselves.
You can carve through this lineup. It's not supposed to be that way. It absolutely isn't supposed to be that way. You'd think adjustments would be made in plate approach. I don't think the White Sox shitty plate approach warning has left the Chicagoland area since it was first issued. I'm waiting to cancel the warning. But you can't, because people need to know when they tune into these ball games, Johnny, that they're not going to like what they see. It's terrible. Just
It is.
terrible.
It really is sad. So at that situation in the game here, you're at a 1-0 ball game. Obviously, White Sox had opportunities there. Top of the sixth, you go first and third, no outs. Excuse me, 1 out, I believe there. And Moncada strikes out. Harrison flies out. I basically had that. I talk about when I jot these notes down. I basically had the Moncada K already stretched, and then I put Harrison fly out. It was just a matter of where it went to, and it went to center field there. So that happened there. You're not able to get one back, and then guess what? You go to the bottom of the seventh. Dylan Cease is out of the game here, and Joe Kelly comes on, and of course he walks first batter, I believe, gives up a single. Then after that, does record 1 out, but after that ground out, he exits the game, and we've seen this multiple times with Joe Kelly, Tony, this year, and it's not a hamstring, not biceps this time, but lightheadedness. So obviously that's not something to play with there, especially as a pitcher. You get a rocket back at you and knock your lights out for good, if that's the case. But however, it's unfortunate because then you get TLR going to Jose Ruiz there. That was the guy that was warming up behind him, and then this is where it spirals out of control. Kansas City is able to pad their lead there. Lopez, a 2 RBI single, and Melendez follows with another one. It's 4-0 in a game that you probably should have been here out of that inning, even with Kelly's kind of mistakes there. You'd imagine if he stayed in, hopefully 2-0, right?
Yeah, I mean, these are just self-inflicted wounds. I don't know the obsession with Jose Ruiz. We've talked about how this team, needed
Jimmy Cordero.
Yeah, we need Jimmy Cordero back. You need something like that. But I would have liked to have seen pretty much any other option coming out of the bullpen besides Jose Ruiz here. And I understand the frustrations with this. I understand that you've got a very close ball game that you need to win, and you didn't put your team in a good position to win by going to Jose Ruiz in this scenario by any stretch of the imagination. Did he give any White Sox related favorable odds to hold it to what he should have? I mean, it's playing with fire all the time. It just seems like this team wants to play with fire, and they get burnt every single time they play with fire.
Yeah, I will say there was a stretch, very, very small stretch at the beginning of the season where Jose Ruiz was actually fairly reliable in those situations. But those days are long gone, and they were long gone even before the All-Star break. So that was kind of like a late April, like early May sort of thing when you're talking about anytime that Jose Ruiz was actually reliable there. You have to throw it back on TLR and Katz there. I mean, come on, your high leverage guys haven't pitched since Tuesday night, right? In the second half of that doubleheader there. What are we saving them for here? It'd be one thing if all those guys maxed out and threw 30 pitch innings yesterday. That's not the case.
Understand.
You're removed from it. That's just, we can go and sit here all we want, but that's what they should have done. Gone to at least one of those guys. I would prefer 2, 3 of them to close that thing down, especially with Cease exiting after 6. However, that was not the case. Jose Ruiz gives up those runs. White Sox do actually mount their hashtag fake rally here in the 8th, Tony. A couple guys get on. Yasmani Grandal able to deliver a 2-run shot. First home run since May. It was back in Kansas City as well. It felt like too little, too late. But it did give the White Sox a little bit of life at that time. Well, maybe on the scoreboard, not in the dugout, because then they load the bases, and Luis Robert makes the last out of that inning, leaves them loaded. So 3 more LOBs in his column there, and that was just really deflating. If you were able to go and press on the gas there, sure, you would have been still upset with the happenings earlier in the game, and it shouldn't have been to that point. However, when you do rally and exceed past, if they were able to get that done, then we might be talking about a whole different tone here on the show.
The way that you describe the too little, too late feeling, I just go back to that one, Johnny. The fake rally stuff is fine, and I don't even want to call them fake rallies because you're getting some offense out of this ball club. But why is it always too little, too late? You can go back to pitching decisions. You could go back to the whole Jose Ruiz thing. You can go back to not scoring in any of those opportunities that you had earlier in the ball game to give yourself a lead. There's a million reasons why this team didn't win a baseball game today, Johnny. And the Yasmani Grandal home run, great. I love to see that he left the ballpark today, but we're going to need a whole lot more of that if we want to be drinking victory beers again. And you're going to need to see it sooner in ball games, and you're going to need to see them start. I go back to the discussion that we had with Steve yesterday.
Yeah.
When you've got runners on, I don't care about how they get in. They just need to get in.
Yeah.
It's execution. It's an execution problem up and down the lineup. It doesn't matter who it is. It just feels like there is a lack of execution.
Yeah, and you talk about the earlier in the game thing, and I go back to this. Yeah, okay, we kind of feel like beggars can't be choosers, and it is the one thing that really, they finally did leave the ballpark, yada yada. However, if he does that in the top of the third, you're already sporting a what? You're up 4-1 then at that point, because that would have been a grand slam, right?
Mm-hmm.
After with guys on base, and he would have picked up his teammates in Eloy Jimenez and Jose Abreu, who struck out ahead of him. So it's like, come on, man.
It's about when you hit it. It's about when you hit it.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to the end of this recap here, because there was a couple more run scoring plays. Bottom of the eighth, Michael Taylor delivers RBI single for an insurance run for the Royals. White Sox would get one back. Vaughn did leave the yard out to left in the ninth, but obviously too little, too late there. I want to go back to that, what I had just said there. You would have liked to leave the yard and can cash in on those opportunities early. It was friggin' Zach Greinke on the mound. I understand in a past life, Zach Greinke was a top-of-the-line starter, right? A really, really elite pitcher in this game. Those days are long gone. He's on his last leg. He's on his retirement tour. He's back to the team that drafted him, all that, and he throws like an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay, that kind of change in whatever velocity might be a little bit to adjust to. However, you have the multiple threats. It's not like they were all fooled by it. It'd be one thing if the guy was throwing like a friggin' gyro ball that you can't even, go and touch, but it's like, it's your standard, fastball changeup mix, throws in a curveball in there, and they're not able to convert when it matters most. That's really what chaps my ass. And it's anyone who's just a halfway serviceable righty is able to shut this team down. It feels like.
Well, this goes back to the whole scouting report stuff. Zach Greinke's been around forever. How are you not prepared for this guy? How are you not prepared for it?
And you've seen him earlier this season too.
Yes. How are you not prepared for this guy? How do you not know what he's going to come out there doing? This was I believe his longest start in years.
Longest start in a year, right? He hadn't gone into the seventh inning. Yeah, I believe it was a stat on the NBC broadcast today. Hadn't gone into the seventh inning since mid-August of last year.
Make it make sense.
Make it
make sense.
Yeah, I was going to say, watch that if we go back and catch that, whatever game it was, watch it be against the White Sox. But last year was a different story than this year. They probably would have chased him in last year's, I digress. What else can you say about this one?
It sucked. That's what you can say about this ball game today, Johnny. It sucked.
It sucked. And then now, you've got a new team atop the AL Central standings with the Cleveland Guardians overtaking the Minnesota Twins there. And now with the White Sox entered today, 2.5 games back. I would imagine, Cleveland being hot as all hell, they'll probably take care of business. So you're probably looking at 3.5 games back. And you do have the Tigers coming into town this weekend, Tony. 3-game set. I don't have any confidence in them to win a game right now.
They will, just because, you've got to, keep playing this roller coaster of a season. So they'll probably win 2 or 3 against Detroit. But you've got to figure out how you can beat bad teams. And you've got to figure out how you can go on a run here if you're going to salvage this. I still hold the sentiment that I'm not going to root against this team. I don't want them to lose and fall farther out of first place just for the sake of watching them burn. We're still going to tune into this every single day.
You're not jumping on the Padres bandwagon?
I'm not jumping on the Padres bandwagon. I think that's kind of weird, right? Like, I don't know about you,
it's
Johnny.
Really cringe. It's really cringe.
Because it doesn't change anything. If you're a baseball fan or if you're a fan of the Chicago White Sox, I know there's a lot of people out there who are like, fuck this, I'm done. That's fine. Turn it off. Don't watch. But hearing it every single day, how done you are with this team, isn't going to change anything. You can vent about it. You can be upset about it. That's all fair. That's all within the boundaries, I guess, of being a fan, because this is pitiful to watch. It's painful to watch. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. If you want to complain about it, that's fine. But I'm not picking any new teams, Johnny. I'm not going to, go hop on somebody else's bandwagon just because I'm so frustrated with this team temporarily that I'm going to, jump on the Padres bandwagon just because they traded for Juan Soto. They've been having trouble since they made these acquisitions.
Yeah, right. And you know the deal, Tony. You're in. There's no getting out of this thing. You're in.
You're born into it.
That's we're into the shit. So, all right, let's look ahead to the weekend, Tony. It'll be Michael Kopech Day on Friday night at the rate. Daniel Norris taking the mound for the Detroit Tigers. It is a lefty here. That narrative that the White Sox crush lefties kind of petered out, I think, earlier this season because they haven't done it extremely well despite their super right-handed heavy hitting lineup. And it's like I said, I know you talked about the roller coaster, but just as right now, just with the lack of offensive production, with the lack of converting with runners in scoring position, even when they give themselves a chance, it just makes me feel like the Tigers are going to come in here and take this opener. And it also would add another check mark in the box of series opening losses this year. I believe we're at 23. Sean Roberts started the counter a couple series ago, Tony. Let me check where we're at right now. We are at 23 right now, so it would be 24.
24 straight series opening.
No, not straight overall on the season. Okay. Games to open a series. So that's why I don't have confidence right now. However, Michael Kopech has been gassing it up. I know he had a rough outing in Texas his last time out, but for that, fastball is creeping up to 98, which is something we hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, and I think that this is good stuff to see from Michael Kopech, Johnny. Obviously, they've been fairly cautious with him. He's still got some stuff left in the tank, which is good to see, especially with some increased velocity. You want to see him, get through those tough innings. We talked about this with Dylan Cease ad nauseum over the past few years in his development track. And what a good opportunity for him against the Detroit Tigers to put together a really impressive start on Friday, man. I think that this is right where you want to be if you're Michael Kopech going into this game. You've got a weaker lineup, obviously, to go and face off against. I'm not too worried about the pitching, Johnny. I'm worried about the offense.
I absolutely am. I'm going to be in attendance, Tony. It's going to probably make me rip my hair out. Probably multiple trips to the marketplace to pick up some extra Coors Lights to be able to get through that. So I'll go ahead and throw out a meatball take here before we do some picks to click.
Sure, let's hear it.
You see my name here, right? I'm the Cascade enjoyer. I know this has become a meme right now because you see those ads fucking relentlessly. I'm a househead. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm going for the game. I want to see the White Sox win. I'm looking forward to it. So crucify me if you want, but I'm ready for it.
I'm not going to crucify you for the entertainment that you enjoy, Jonathan. I just, it is a meme because they've pushed this very hard.
You see it. I will say that's getting excessive, even though I like the guy. I do like CJ, but yeah, it's understandable because you don't want to see anything. You see people getting upset about them sending out, ticket packages on, right? You get the emails. I'm sure you got the promo emails from the White Sox marketing department. So, but I had this one circled on it before it really spiraled into the soul crushing phase that we're in. So, all right, let's wrap this up with a pick to click and we'll get out of here.
Sounds good, Johnny. I am going to go with, if he's in the lineup, Andrew Vaughn. I think he's maybe going to start heating up here a little bit. You saw him leave the yard today. I would like him to leave the yard on Friday so you get some fireworks before you get your house music. So I'm going to go Andrew Vaughn.
Hey, he had a home run today, so let's see that continue. They need a lot more of those. He's one of the guys that can deliver him shit. I would thinking about picking Yaz here. I don't know if he'll be in the lineup for sure, though, just with playing the last two games and yada yada. You know the spiel with that. So I'll go with Jose Abreu. There's been a lot of talk too, Tony. We didn't really touch too much on it, but we can get into a brief sort of bit about it here. You need your heart and soul. Jose Abreu obviously is the leader of this team, unofficial captain, right, of this team. If there's a time to really rally the troops, it would be him doing it, and it would be doing it by example because I know he's, he might talk to the guys in the clubhouse, but he's not an extremely super vocal leader calling guys out. You don't see all of that too much. He's more of, I'm going to go and hit the home runs and go all out and make the sliding catch down the first baseline and yada yada. So I'll go with Jose Abreu for mine, and then that kind of brings up, we can close out with the fire comments, right? Playing with the fight, the passion, whatever Johnny Cueto said, and he said, if we have it. And then Tony La Russa was kind of befuddled by those comments there. Well, you can't blame Johnny Cueto for what he says, especially after him going a complete game in Texas. and then you go out and I know we had to battle a little bit more through it on Wednesday night here in Kansas City, but when you go and see that kind of stuff behind you and you're not getting the run support, it's easy. I think it's reasonable of him to question the fight of this team, and that's something that us fans have been doing all year.
Yeah, I just throw this back to some Dallas Keuchel comments that were made earlier. I think that he kind of did the same exact thing and got crucified by a lot of people. And then just because Johnny Cueto's a fan favorite, the tone on this one's a little bit differently, I guess, consumed by people. It's just really interesting that you've heard this multiple times. That's kind of all I have with that. We're all watching this team. We see what's happening. Obviously, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but it's just slightly concerning that we're still playing this narrative and not talking about winners. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. None of this is happening if the White Sox are winning baseball games. I'm just flat out. I don't think any of this stuff is making headlines if the White Sox were 10 games over 500 right now. So that's where they need to be. I think, to a certain extent, La Russa not knowing or befuddled by the comments or whatever, I'm sure he would rather the team be 10 games over 500. I think Johnny's sentiment is he'd rather the team be 10 games over 500. I think everybody wants the same fucking thing. There's just some stuff that's lost in translation here, and it's becoming a problem, and that's why it's in your face.
And it just looks worse then. It'd be one thing if you go out and you respond to that, right? If they were like crisp today and they were, right on, but then you see the lack of hustle, you see the mental error by Sebi Zavala on the bases, and then it just gives more credence to it. So then it becomes a story. So I agree with you there. It's frustrating to watch. Like I said, we've been kind of diving into it all year as fans here, but I thought that was interesting. So that's our closing topic for today. Everybody, thank you for coming in here and joining the comments section here. We had a nice one today. Nice and angry. We like to see that. You got to vent it out, drink it out. Then later tonight, on Tap Sportsnet on YouTube is the place to do that. Subscribe so you know when we go live here, and then drop your comments when we are in the live stream. Go ahead and follow us on social media at Sox on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, and visit ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports, literature, and podcasting needs. Tony, probably be back at it with the Sunday Funday this weekend. See what the weekend brings about. Hopefully, talking about a White Sox sweep. That would be something that might help us feel a little bit better about this team. But for now, more misery beers. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.